to confirm Justice Ginsburg's replacement before the election. We're going to move forward in the committee. We're going to report the nomination out of the committee to the floor of the United States Senate so we can vote before the election. That's the constitutional process. After Kavanaugh, everything changed with me. They're not going to intimidate me, Mitch McConnell, or anybody else.
That's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Lindsey Graham, earlier tonight on Fox News. You heard the man. He's got the votes. We just don't have any idea who the nominee will be. Over the weekend, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi did not rule out impeachment as a way to delay Trump's nominee if Biden wins. It's a mess, and for more, I'm joined by Jason Johnson, veteran journalist, contributor over at The Grio, and a professor at Morgan State University. Lanhee Chen is back with us as well, research fellow at the Hoover Institution, former policy director for the Romney-Ryan 2012 effort, more on that in a bit, and notably a former senior official with the Department of Health and Human Services, who is old enough to remember when it was a credible arm of government. Gentlemen, good evening to you both. Jason, you over the weekend wrote, Democrats shouldn't freak out yet. Explain.
Well, the basic issue is this. As of right now, it is unlikely, things may change, that the Republicans are going to put in a brand new nominee before the election. It's very likely that they'll wait until sometime during the lame duck, which means the Democrats still have a chance, albeit slight, to change the dynamics of what could happen in replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg if they manage to take over the Senate. I think a lot of people got upset in the moment of her passing because of her great judicial history, because of her accomplishments, but they forgot the reality that we're at, which is Mitch McConnell made it very clear, as long as he's Senate Majority Leader, no Democrat will ever put another nominee on the Supreme Court. So Democrats shouldn't be freaking out. This is a reminder of the reality. And as strange as it may be for people to think about this, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing, as tragic as it may be personally and as tragic it may be politically, is actually a net positive for Democrats when it comes to the election. Losing a liberal justice will incentivize more Democratic voters to turn out than Republicans. And we saw that in 2018. That's probably going to happen in 2020.
Lanhee, about your former boss, Mitt Romney, what's the chance he gathers up all of his courage and patriotism and joins Collins and Murkowski?
Well, Brian, I haven't spoken to him, so this is not, coming from him. This is just sort of my instinct. I think regardless of, I don't think he's made a decision in particular yet, but I think regardless of the way he goes, I think he is going to give this a lot of thought and consideration. What I come back to is at the end of the day, Brian, he is a constitutional conservative and he is a Republican. People forget that sometimes, but it is true. And so I would expect, if I had to guess, that he ends up voting with Senator McConnell on this. I could be wrong, could be proven wrong, certainly. But my guess, based on what I know of him, what I know of his record, what I know of his past, and what I know of what he cares about, is that this is something that, is consistent with his view of the world in terms of putting a conservative justice on the Supreme Court. So I think that's how it's going to end up. But, I'm certainly, it wouldn't be the first time that I'd be surprised by him. That's for sure.
All right, Jason, I hate to do this to you. Here is the senior senator from South Carolina in 2018, notably after the Kavanaugh hearing.
If an opening comes in the last year of President Trump's term and the primary process is started, we'll wait to the next election. And I've got a pretty good chance of being the judiciary.
You're on the record.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold the tape.
Jason, how shocked are you that he's not keeping his word?
Brian, it was hard to hear that audio over the sounds of Jamie Harrison catching up with him in the polls. Look, I'm not surprised that Lindsey Graham is a hypocrite. He is a survivalist by all levels. And the aggression with which he's talking about putting Trump's nominee and having a vote before 2020 is because for the first time in 20 years in his political life, he is in danger. He's actually facing real competition in Jamie Harrison. But I think right now it's a lot of bluster. I don't think Lindsey Graham or Mitch McConnell can guarantee that this vote will occur before the election. And depending on what happens in the election, you may have more Republicans who are concerned or apprehensive about the decision of choosing someone if Donald Trump is moved out of office. But Lindsey Lindsey Graham being a hypocrite, he's been that guy for most of his career.
Both of these gentlemen have agreed to stay with us. I have to fit a commercial break in just ahead when we continue talking. Voting's underway in some places. The first debate, let's not forget, is a week away. It's beginning to look a lot like a general election during a pandemic. A status report when we come back.